Hi, welcome. My name is Mattias, and today we're going to talk about how to troubleshoot your API management instance. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We will discuss what toolings we have inside of API management, and we will discuss login options. So we will actually look into application insight in this session. And the third option will be to actually go into VS Code and debug our request. So we will go all the line for this. It's going to be fun, so stick with me. And we will start off by discussing one of the most common ones. I even got comments on it earlier. How to find where my 401 unauthorized is. Because there's a lot of moving parts nowadays when we have this microservice landscape and we need to have each and every component protected. So let's go ahead and look into that. So let's jump into my whiteboard and let's start drawing our scenario. So here we go. We got our API, and behind that we got a function. So the light blue one is the function, and in the back we have a DB with some data. We have if you've seen this before, we have a consumer A, I think it was, and consumer A, which will start his journey by going in and asking for a token with Auth0, because we have a trust. The green one, so we have a trust over here. Our API is protected by Auth0 as an OAuth provider, and also by the built-in token, or API key, sorry. The API key. So they're gonna get a token, and we're gonna have a token. And they're gonna use this consumer, gonna use this token, and it's gonna go ahead, we're using token, and we're gonna have the API key. And then we're gonna start getting errors, because there's a bunch of areas where we will go. So let's just go ahead and see where this goes. We want to get the data from the DB, and we will do that in the end. We will follow some errors. So let's get started. To visualize my consumer, I have a Postman collection. So I will use Postman as my tool in this case. So my Postman, this is my consumer A. So I will start off by getting a request. This is actually the first place where you can get an error. So if I would just go ahead and let's just add an A on my client secret. As you can see, it's unauthorized. There we go. So that's the first point. We can actually get unauthorized. And but let's just get past that. In the drawing, that would be in this area, where we can have our first entry point of an unauthorized. This might be very simple when I'm sitting with Postman, but depending on your tooling, this could be a bit tricky. If you want to help out and see this, you can go ahead and actually in Auth0, we can actually go into the logs. So in Auth0, we got logs, we got search. So here we can actually see what's going on. What's happening. So for this case, if I'm refreshing this, we will see that I have a failed, I have a success. I have a success and failed, which means that I can actually see that my consumer A in this case has problems or not. So if I just add a filter for my consumer A, let's see if I can do that. I'm not sure if that is so. There we go. Yeah, I can see this, and just I don't have much more, so it's easy for me. But if you have issues with it, you can see that consumer A is going good, and you can verify that this is okay. Sounds good. So if we go back to this one, we can make sure that we have our token. We got the token. Let's do a check over there. We then go to call our API management instance, and we got two of these. I got the first one over here, and let's just go ahead with the ones that's working. So if I go ahead and try this one now, I should get something. I get unauthorized. So as you can see, I'm having authorization. This is the token that I collected earlier, and this is the API key. So even if I have both of them, I still get unauthorized, which is a pity. If I remove this one just for fun, you can see that I'm getting unauthorized as well, but getting another message. So this is how you can make sure that they're actually providing a good API key, one of the ways at least. So let's go ahead and see. So we get unauthorized when we use our API key and we use our token. So something is wrong here. Let's then just jump into to our API management instance. So let's jump up. Sorry. So in our API management instance, we have the opportunity actually to have something called analytics. So in this analytics part, we can actually see what's going on. So for today, as you can see, I've tested this a bit before. We have a bunch of calls. We have a lot of them, but most of them are failing. We only have one successful. This doesn't seem very good, but we can see that. And if you want to look into who's doing this, we can actually go into look into subscription. We can then see that this is customer A product, and we can see that this one has 1 successful, 15 unauthorized, 4 failed, and 20 total requests. So you can see what's going on. If I go to request, I can actually see the request. You can see that I get the response code 401 on a request like this, and this is good. This is not helping so much maybe in the 401 section, but it's really good for this 404. So let's say that in this case we have a consumer. We go to this part. They have done everything right. They think they follow everything, but they still get this resource not found. And then you can actually validate this by going to this site, and then you can see, okay, the 404's response code. Okay, look, they're missing the versioning, so they don't add v1. And then you can just help your consumer saying, you need to add v1, and that's a simple way. But let's continue on our 401. So we know that we are getting a 401 still. And we know that we should be good. The API key, at least, API key is good. That's good. And we know the token is good. So let's check. How can we go ahead and see this more? So I have connected a application insights. It's called SP logging demo. Sounds good. So if I go into my SP logging demo and let's click refresh, let's see. We get the latest. We can see that we have fails. So the last hour I have a few fails. I have nothing success. If I go in and click on failures in this tab, you can see that I have my get my orders. And we can see that we have a few operation not found, token claim. Let's just go ahead and get into details. So this has a lot of 401s, and that's what we like. We want to have the 401s. Let's just put the latest one. Let's click that one. So here we go. Now we can read this in application insight. We can see that the exception is token claim value mismatch. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's go down, and okay, we don't get much. We do this at validate job token. We get this tokens claim value mismatch. Interesting. Interesting. Let's just go back to our API and let's go check it out. See what's happening. So let's go into APIs, v1, and let's go to get my orders, which is one we are using today. And let's go in and check policies. So in my policy, I have a validate job token section. And as you saw in application insight, it was, let's see where it goes, at validate job token. Let's go back and let's check it out. Okay, so we have authorization, we got OpenID configuration, audience seems right, issue seems right, permissions. Oh, hang on, all orders. Let's see if we have that on consumer A, because I have an idea of that's an admin thing. Let's go in and check it out. So let's see, let's go to token as consumer A, and let's see what scopes we have. So we have create order, update order, read my orders, but not all orders. To me, this looks like a dev error, so let's fix this because I'm a dev, so I will fix this. Let's go ahead and save that. My orders sounds good. Save. Let's try this again. Let's go ahead and get my orders. Let's see. Oh, we got past the 401, but now we got a 500 internal server error. Interesting. So now, if we go back to the drawing, we can now say that our token is okay. We got past everything. So now we are inside our API and we are processing this one. somewhere along the line, it could be the function, it could be in the API, we got a 500 error. Something unexpected is happening over here. So after this point to a timeline of here, we actually can have an issue. So this is harder to find. If we just look into this, let's go ahead and see what Application Insight gives us. Let's see, because I think we had those errors as well. If we go back to this part, we can see the 500s. Let's go ahead and take one. Okay, expression evaluation failed. Okay, so this is some expression going wrong. As you can see, we're still in the API. So we're still in API management. We still get exception in API management. Okay, so let's see. We throw key not found. Okay, so something's going wrong inside of our API. Let's see how we can troubleshoot this from VS Code. Oh, I'm bringing in VS Code. Hang on. There we go. So if you have the extension for API management and you log in, you can go into your API. We can go into APIs in this case, and we can see that I have these orders. We have this V1, and we're going to go to operations, and we're going to go to get my orders. We have the policy. We can load it up over here as well. But the fun part is here we can actually add the breakpoint. So let's add a breakpoint. And let's troubleshoot this. This is going to be fun. So let's start policy debugging. So this call will be picked up by the engine and it will be collected. This will not have, you won't stop anything else, so you can do this in production. You will only get your request. And in this case, if I'm going to try it right now, I will just get a failed because I need all the same authorization as over here. So I need to add the authorization header. So let's just copy the authorization and let's just add that as well. Authorization, and let's copy the value because we want to have the value. Let's see, access token, copy. Let's remove that one. So there we go. Now we know that this could be done. We could have used our own token, but in my case it was easy to get this one. So let's just see how it goes. So let's just press send request. 404, resource not found. This is a bit interesting because this is how I actually realized this part. So if you see orders my. So if you go back, you see this one, you have orders V1, orders my. So we need to add a V1 over here. The version set is not added into the URL, unfortunately. So let's try it again. Let's try send request. Now we're inside of our debugging. So now we can actually see what's happening. So I assume the validate will go okay. Sounds good. Now we're into the steps that we said. We were working with variables, right? So something with the variables is going on. So let's just remove this a bit. So there we go. And we can see, okay, let's see. This is working. Let's do a rewrite. Oh, hang on. We got an error. Oh, so this is where we got it. So if the key is not present, okay, then let's stop this one. So then we can actually edit this right away into VS Code, which is fun. So let's go back to our extensions. And let's go to the policy. So in this case, let's see what's going on. So we're setting a variable, customer ID. And then we are trying to use a variable called customer. Ouch. We need to have the same name on this. So let's add that one over there and let's save it. And let's upload. So now I'm actually uploading my change live, which is nice. So now it should be updated. Let's try it out. Let's see how it goes. Let's press send. This takes time. This looks promising. So let's just see. So now we have troubleshoot our API. We got a result. We're fine. Woohoo! We got it. We fixed our API and we actually found everything. That is good. So what I wanted to do with this is make you aware of the different areas where you can find this error. Because we can find it in analytics part. in APIM. So in APIM we have analytics. And we have, for instance, you can have the other tools as well, but we can use App Insights. My spelling is bad. And then we have VS Code for hard code debugging. So depending on your issue and where you start, often you want to go ahead and, if you have a consumer, you want to start off with just checking analytics, making sure they are okay. I've been in many cases where people are saying, hey, my thing is not working, your API is broken. And then you can go into analytics and look into, hey, but you're not even calling our stuffs. And they have their issues of their own. Or something like we can say that you're not providing the right credentials, or it's easier to get the first line of things solved there. And later on, when it gets more tricky, you could use tools like Application Insight, and you can see, as we did, find out the token it was not validated correctly. And then, if we even have more issues, then we go for VS Code. And then we can do hardcore debugging. And as mentioned, you can do that in production as well, because you will not interfere with other calls. It will just be your call they're picking up when you're doing debugging, which is really awesome and nice to try out what's going on with a specific request. So that's all for now, and thanks for watching, and hope you liked it, and hope to talk to you soon. Cheers! Bye!